What's up?
Stop.
No, I'm trying to get my neck big.
That's a bad idea. You're gonna hurt yourself.
No, I'm trying to make a big neck, you know?
Yeah, I get it, but you shouldn't do that. And we'll tell you why.
What's up, you party animals? Back with another Anatomy Tuesday. Now that you saw what that neck does, let's talk about why you probably shouldn't be doing that. Mark's gonna dive in.
Yeah, so just some basic anatomy right now. We're gonna break it down into intrinsic and extrinsic muscles of the neck. So we're looking at those intrinsic muscles, those deep neck flexors. Those are gonna be our rectus capitis, longest coli. These muscles are going to bilaterally flex the neck and unilaterally laterally flex the neck. But their main, most important function is going to be those intersegmental, precise postural movements. So, and then we have the extrinsic muscles of the neck. That's going to be the sternocleidomastoid and the scalenes. Now those actions are going to be, again, to bilaterally flex the neck, unilaterally laterally flex, and rotate the neck. So really important. These are going to be our big, more force-producing muscles of the neck. And what we're starting to see is because that anterior head carriage, because of that poor posture, those deep neck flexors, those intrinsic muscles are starting to become inhibited and they're shortened, and our extrinsic muscles are taking over that function, trying to perform those precise movements. It's not their job, so what that leads to is poor movement patterns, poor posture, and poor alignment of the cervical spine.
So one of the things we really want to cover is that neck pain that a lot of people feel all day. They sit there, they have this big old noggin on their head, they're stuck in this position at their desk, they're just hunched over, and then you see them all day like, and giving themselves a little self-massage. It's just like that. And what we really want to cover here is the faulty movement patterns and why this pain is there. So Mark's going to dive in about those faulty movement patterns.
Yeah, so like we just talked about, you know, those extrinsic muscles of the neck are compensating for inhibited intrinsic muscles. And that's kind of a pattern we start to see throughout the chain. So when we have that that head carriage, forward head carriage, we're looking at maybe is that upper cross syndrome. So we're talking about those facilitated muscles that are working overtime, going to be upper trap and the SCM and these things that are kind of keeping us in that position, while our intrinsic muscles, our deep neck flexors, our lower traps are starting to shut off. And that's going to lead to cervical spine, lower cervical spine being stuck in flexion, upper cervical spine being in extension. That's going to put a lot of pressure on those discs, and it's going to lead to a lot of pain. We start to see that now throughout the chain. Like we've covered in all of our videos, that stream theory is if muscles are not working properly, we have other things compensating and creating these bad movement patterns throughout the entire chain. So obviously going to lead to poor performance, and that's what we're going to touch on next.
So one of the biggest questions I get with this muscle is why are we working it? Like, the girls don't see it on TV, like it's not shown, like I want to work my arms, like why are we working this muscle that's covered by my hair? Like if you have good hair, you know? And the reason is performance. Performance. One of the best things here is looking at the posture of even just a sprinter or anybody running is, if you're stuck in this position, it's going to lead to faulty movement patterns other places in that back. And in almost any movement pattern, if we're stuck, we're breaking that posture, the performance is going to suffer. And then again, it comes back to injury prevention. And one big thing that we can cover here is concussions. And it's one of the biggest things in team sports. It's one of the biggest things in individual sports right now is how to avoid concussions. And while we can't really promise that we're going to prevent it, if we can put our athletes in the best position to avoid one, why wouldn't we? So two things we want to cover here with the neck is that strengthening and stability side of it. And I think this is probably a smaller slice of the pie than a lot of athletes are looking into. But if we're able to strengthen that and we're able to take those hits a little bit better, I think it can help slightly with concussions. But a lot of the research actually has shown that it's more of the perception, like how are we seeing the field and how are we putting our bodies into a better position to not absorb that tackle, but how are we avoiding that tackle and putting our head in the right position and our body in the right position to take that hit, to deliver that hit, and our body's in a good position so the forces are going through our body in the right way, not snapping back here.
Yeah, a lot of these muscles in the neck, research shows that it has a ton of proprioceptive properties to it. A lot of muscle spindles, a lot of GTOs, and if these muscles are working properly, it's going to put us in the best position. It's going to put our body in its best position in space, and I think that's going to keep us a lot safer, keep us in the right position, and avoid catastrophic injury.
Yeah, and going off of this, what is the best position for people listening?
Yeah, so Stanford did a study on this, and similar, like Austin was saying, we're not looking quite as much at the strength of the neck muscles in avoiding concussions, but the positioning of the head. And what they showed was that basically what everybody's teaching us is right. When we talk about keeping the head up, keeping the eyes up, and using our face to tackle, keeping our head up and using the crown and our face. That's football related, but talking about soccer, we're heading the ball with the crown of our forehead, and really trying to keep and maintain that position is huge.
Yeah, and I think it's big into why all those spearing penalties and that downward head motion is legal in a lot of the sports now, is because they're starting to see the research and the correct way to hit it.
Right.
All right, so now that we've dived into all these problems, let's give you guys something to take home from all this and some exercises we can do to really work on those issues.
Yeah, so we're taking this one from our man Kelly Starrett, just a simple Vantage Stretch. So what we're going to do, grab a band, we're going to internally rotate the shoulder, internally rotate the arm. We're going to anchor that shoulder in. Because these neck muscles and shoulder muscles are so interconnected, it's a great stretch for both. But so anchor the shoulder, we're going to laterally flex the neck and rotate up. Start to feel that stretch there. We can rotate down and feel that same stretch. Feel free to zoom in on the mustache here. I know it's pretty full. Lighting doesn't do it justice, but it's pretty solid. And yeah, it's a great stretch. It's really going to start to open up some of these muscles, and really good for kind of just that instant relief for some neck pain. So
yeah, so talking about instant relief, always got a lacrosse ball present, baby. Hair's up. We're ready to put in some work. Putting this crossball back here, you can do this on the ground as well. All we're doing is putting this in the back of our neck. We're scrubbing the back of that neck. We got tension here. We're looking side to side here, side to side. Putting some nice pressure on there. Just like a nice little self-massage here. Just feeling amazing. Again, something that we're looking at here is it's not going to solve a ton of our problems, but it's going to alleviate some of our pain. A lot of times our problems are further down the stream. So I don't think this is going to solve our issues, but it's going to feel better. We're going to move over here with Mark. I'm going to show you some strengthening exercises we can do. So this is one of my favorites.
let's hit those deep neck flexors.
Hitting some deep neck flexors, baby. One of my favorite exercises to do, especially with a big group of athletes, because you don't need a ton of equipment here. What we're going to do with Mark here is work some isometric holds here, just squeezing. And with your athletes, you need to teach them not to just slam his neck down, but we're keeping tension here for 10 seconds. We can also do the same thing if he flips onto his side. And we're going to work the isometric contraction here as well, and just working all sides of the neck. Another thing you guys can do, and it can be a progression or regression based off how your athlete is, but we can work the eccentric and concentric parts. So we can push down on his neck, and we're holding for 5, 5, 5. Then he's going to come up against my hand for 5. And we're just working ways there. All right, the hair's back down. Mark's going to show us one final holy grail of an exercise.
Yeah, so taking this from one of the best in the business, Dr. Tommy John out of San Diego, California. He's a great chiropractor that has an awesome spinal hygiene routine. I'm going to focus on just the 4-way neck movements on this one. So do this every night before bed. Just functional movement of the spine. It's going to help activate and strengthen some of these muscles. But what you're doing is just very intentionally taking your neck through a full range of motion in each action it has, right? So what we want to do first, activate those deep neck flexors, tuck the chin in, kind of get that double chin, working on flexion, bringing that chin to the sternum, and extension coming all the way back, and taking that neck through a full range of motion. Another one we want to do is laterally flex. So we're going to use our chin as that axis point of rotation, and just laterally flex, bring the ear to that shoulder, and just feel that stretch, not pushing into pain, but just getting to your full range of motion. And you might feel that, one side can move farther than the other, that's normal, but over time that'll kind of even itself out. And then finally we have rotation, so neck rotations. Again, getting those deep neck flexors activated and rotating, trying to get to that full range of motion on each side. Easy exercise you can do before bed, and a ton of benefits.
Yeah, so Mark and I wanted to show you 2 exercises that don't require any equipment. But if you guys are really looking to take that neck strengthening game to the next level, an iron neck, it's a piece of equipment that you can work your neck through all those ranges of motion, but also with that resistance that we talked about earlier. I think that's a piece of equipment you guys should really look into and check it out. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you guys got a lot out of this. Hopefully we're not neck banging, head banging anymore at any of these concerts. We learned a lot. Mark's gonna dive.
I'm not diving in.
You're not diving into anything.
Keep it healthy, keep it safe.
Subscribe,
right there. Subscribe button.
right there.
It's right there, Marcus.
Marcus, right
put
there.
it right there.
We hope you guys got a lot out of this. Hopefully, guys, that didn't make sense. Hopefully you guys got a lot out of this.
Hopefully you guys got a
There we go. There, I got it. Thank you guys for watching.